Finally, Aang is in Fortnite, along with several other goodies. Let's talk about them. I also have a giveaway to announce at the end, so stay tuned. Before we get started, I'm working on my 2,000 subscribers special and I need your help. Give me things I should make Korra say. To clarify, I'm only editing her lip sync, so please suggest some audio clips, things from videos, TikToks, shows, stuff like that. If you make something up, I guess I can just voice act something for her. Okay, on to the video. Here's the event page. It features some calming kalimba, which obviously is iconic to Avatar. To start things off, let's discuss the main event, our boy Aang. Like the others, his proportions might take some getting used to. If you're anything like me, all you can think about is Aang from the show. But like Toph, Aang's design is from the comics where there's actually been a bit of a time jump. In the comics, he's actually a bit taller than Katara. His face is also a bit less round than we're used to. All things considered, I think it was a very clever way to compensate for the restrictions of the Fortnite proportions. He looks a little weird, but mostly because I'm just used to 12-year-old Aang. Next we have the Elemental Cycle Spray. It's cool, I guess. Again, I don't care that much about the sprays. I will say though, one thing that bothers me slightly is I wish the middle of the circle was a cross, not an X, like Iroh's depiction of the elements. The 4 elements banner back bling is pretty cool. I don't have it yet, so I'm not sure, but I think you can select which one to display, which is great. Sometimes you just want to rep your element instead of all 4. The loading screen is awesome. Some dynamic poses and bending going on here, and unlike the Korra one, it focuses on the characters I do know and care about. I could do without the banana guy in the back, but it is what it is. It's not too noticeable, at least. Sorry to any Fortnite enjoyers who really care about that character. Also, I see some cabbages in the background. Next we have the guitar. Nothing too special. Again, one for each element, which is neat. This is the same instrument that Chong plays though. You know, the secret tunnel guy.
Happy to go wherever the wind takes us.
So, for that reason alone, it is iconic. I will say, I wish we had a secret tunnel jam track. I mean, can you imagine? My cabbages! I'm so glad they included this. Although, I kinda wish the cabbages were eventually, actually destroyed. The cabbage merchant was never this lucky. It also just makes me want him as a skin. I mean, imagine him being able to shoot at Team Avatar and finally get revenge. The meme potential would be huge. Laughing Toph emote is kinda weird. I mean, interestingly, it brings back her old design, but it kind of just reminds me of those memes where you accidentally send a skull emoji in the middle of your laughing faces. Sokka's Space Sword Pickaxe. I mean, at this point, they gotta be trolling. I thought this would make a great pickaxe before this came out, but for Sokka specifically, they gotta add him. This is madness. It does look pretty cool though. The Baffled Aang emote. Again, I don't really care about these ones, but it brings back younger Aang, so that's cool, I guess. One thing that is killing me is I recognize these frames. I'm not sure about the first one, but the actual baffled look is from Mang telling him he had big ears.
And you've got some pretty big ears, don't you? I guess.
The banner icon is pretty neat. Not much else to say about it. I feel kind of weird to use his face as my banner though, so I'll probably stick with the elements. This one. This one makes me upset. I know it's just semantics at the end of the day and has no bearing on the actual emote itself, but it is not Aang's air sphere. It is the air scooter. He made up and named the move himself.
I was trying to teach them how to do the air scooter. First, you form the ball. Then you gotta get on quick.
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl got this one wrong too, and it's a small thing, but it really makes me lose faith in the people coordinating this stuff. Did they really do their research? I don't know, it just bothers me. Other than that, the emote is pretty cool. I think it was a great decision to make it traversal because it just makes sense. However, it was never slow in the show, so I feel a little conflicted about it. I also think the random jump feels a bit unnecessary. It adds some animation to it, I suppose, but why are you doing all that? The Momo Messenger back bling! I am so glad he made it in. This is like exactly what I wanted, although I was kind of envisioning him clinging onto your back instead. I do wish it was reactive though. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad Momo's here. That's like the only back bling I wanted. The other thing I have to say is, this is Sokka's bag. Like, how many Sokka things are they gonna add before Sokka himself? I want to throw up. Anyway, it's a shame you can't wear the bag and the belt. Here we got the Avatar Aang spray. There he is, I suppose. I mean, it's neat. They have 12-year-old Aang, I guess, but also part of me is annoyed at the design inconsistencies. Like, you have older Aang, but you can spray younger Aang. I don't know. It's not a big deal, though. The Air Nomad staff pickaxe just makes sense for Aang. I'm glad to see they added it, although I do have to, actually, since they're using the comic design for Aang, it's the wrong glider because Aang burned his old one. This one is more iconic for him though, so I get it. And the animation is nice too. Another thing I have to point out is he did not like his staff being used to hit things.
Actually, I'd prefer if you didn't. That's an antique, handcrafted by the monks. It's a delicate instrument.
So it is a little bit funny to have it as a pickaxe. The Avatar State Aang skin is pretty cool, but I think I have the same problem with it as the balanced Korra skin. I guess I just wish it wasn't constantly Avatar State, but then I guess it would just be a dude wearing pants. I think reactive Avatar State would be really cool though. I don't know, I just think it's a bit overrated. Like, they use this outfit for Smite too. And like, I get it. It's his look from the iconic fight with Ozai, and they had to end on something cool, which it is, don't get me wrong. I have a couple things that I want to point out though. They did a good job including Aang's back scar, but they forgot to include the scar on his foot. I think most people forget about it, but I think the attention to detail would have gone a long way. I also want to say it's kind of weird he's just floating without any airbending or any kind of bending. I mean, that's not to say that hasn't happened in the show before, but I would have liked to have seen a little tornado or, I don't know, the elemental sphere thing he used in the fight where this outfit came from. That would have made a great emote too. All we really have is Avatar's Flourish, which is really disappointing with Aang. When it came out, I was really hoping it would work the same way it did with Korra, with Aang, and it kind of does, but his arrows don't light up. I honestly would prefer no glowing at all, and for it to only be compatible with Korra than whatever this is. I mean, they've shown with the other skin that they know what Aang's avatar state is supposed to look like, so this is just kind of sad. Also, why are part of his eyebrows glowing? One last thing I have to say about this skin, and I think I'll be the first to point it out, but they took away Aang's nipples. Now, I realize it is not an uncommon stylistic choice for cartoons and anime to exclude nipples, but Avatar is not one of those shows, and I know this is extremely inconsequential, but this is inconsistent with one of Avatar's design philosophies, and thusly I have to dock it points for that. Lastly, we have the Appa glider. I love it, I think it looks great, and I'm happy to report you don't hang from his toes. It is a bit unfortunate you surf on him, but I'll take it. I guess sitting would be a hitbox issue or something, so, you know, it makes sense. It is what it is. I'm satisfied enough. Oh, and I wanted to show off the bending mythics and give my thoughts on those to close things off. They're apparently all waterbending, but that's besides the point. Anyway, all of the bending scrolls can be found in these neat little shrines that are now appearing. First off is waterbending, which we are already familiar with. In terms of representing Avatar, it's fine, I guess. I feel like it could use a bit more flair, but actually using it feels really good to me. And I think it was a really neat idea to give it healing as a passive. Next is Earth. It features an Earth Gauntlet, which is reminiscent of Aang's fight versus Azula. There are 2 moves, one for forming a wall, and one for launching a chunk of earth. Pretty cool. I like that they incorporated 2 moves, and it does a good job of showcasing how earthbending is good for offense and defense. I think the cooldown is reasonable too. One thing I will say is I wish they included something to show off the sub-elements, like how they gave healing to water. I'm not sure what they could have done for all of them, but I feel like for Earth, maybe you can draw ammo or weapons to you via metal bending, or a seismic sense ability that works similarly to Artemis in that it scans the area for enemies and chests. Next up is Fire. The 2 moves are pretty fitting for the element of power. You have your quick strikes and you have your big burst. Hyper offensive, which is pretty cool because the Fire Nation is kind of famous for attacking. Lastly, we have Air. As far as I can tell, Air is purely for mobility, which makes a lot of sense since the airbenders are pacifists. I actually think this one is the most fun. The moves are Air Wheel and Air Jump. Air Wheel is similar to Tenzin's move shown off a couple times, which is pretty cool that Aang can use his son's move now. It moves very fast and can even go over water. It's just so much fun and will probably be very useful for quick escapes. Air Jump is just a burst that lets you jump up pretty high.
Typical airbender tactic. Avoid and evade. I'd hope the Avatar would be less predictable.
I will say maybe it's recency bias, but it feels like water got the short end of the stick for not getting 2 moves. Although I guess the healing counts. Overall though, I think the mythics are pretty sick. And all in all, for the entire collab, I'm pretty satisfied with what we got. I do really hope they do a wave 2, or at least Sokka, I mean please! Anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for supporting my Fortnite videos. I think this is where they come to an end though, at least until I add more or do another collab I'm interested in. I never really intended to become a Fortnite YouTuber, I just like Avatar. So if you subscribed for Fortnite, I understand if you leave, but I urge you to check out my other videos and see if you like those first. To thank you guys for the crazy support, I wanted to host a giveaway. I was mistaken in thinking you could gift the event pass, so I figured I would just give away a 2000 V-Bucks code. That way you can either buy the pass or one of the other skins if you want. I initially tried setting up one of those Gleam giveaways but didn't feel like it, so I think what I'm gonna do is just message one of you in Fortnite. So to enter, Just leave your epic username and tell me what your favorite element is. I'll announce the winner in a community post, and if you win, I'll add you on Fortnite so I can message you the code. Or, if you'd rather, I can just gift you one of the character skins. And I'll announce the winner sometime on April 17th. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to use code 8BITAR. Okay, bye.